Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes, and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up, and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
And Becky.
So lovely to have you back today listening, and first of all we just want to say thank you so much for all of your support, your amazing, kind, wonderful comments that you have left for us. It's just really been I don't know, it's just been magical. It has been magical. It has, and it's just, we're so happy that all the things that we wanted to get out of this podcast for you, for us, is actually being mirrored back to us now. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And thank you to everyone who has come and joined our Facebook community group as well. We've already got things going on in there, haven't we? Yep. So if you're listening to this and you haven't joined the Facebook group, you can find the link in the episode notes. Come on over. We've been trying to get in there, do some live videos. We just want to have a real community, don't we? Like where people can talk and share positivity.
Yeah, we want to hear all your stories, anything that you think you would love to tell your friends, but you can't. Come and tell us. We want to hear it.
Yes, and share it with like-minded people, because there's so many lovely people in there already. So
yeah, there is.
Anyway, actually, this episode has been inspired by one of our lovely community members already, hasn't it? And so today we are going to be talking about limiting beliefs. Ooh. This is a big, broad topic. It's a phrase that gets chucked around a lot. Yeah. And actually, I don't even like using the word limiting beliefs. Like in my social media, obviously everything I do is working on removing limiting beliefs. Yeah. But I think the word's been or the phrase has been so overused, but it is what it is. Yeah. People know about it, I think. But I wonder, do you really know what limiting beliefs are? And do you know why it's important to identify them? And do you know how to do it? So this is what this episode is going to try and cover. Now, as I said, this is a really broad topic, and we could probably do quite a few episodes around limiting beliefs, but let's talk about them, do like an intro to them, and see where it goes. And hopefully you'll be able to walk away a little bit more enlightened as to what they are and how you can start going about identifying them firstly, and then
removing them.
Exactly. That's the key. So, what is a limiting belief? Yeah. A belief, let's just be honest, a belief is a thought that you think. Becky, you can't see, but Becky's like turned into me. She's like, yeah, tell me.
I'm
She's in it.
Student mode right now, looking at my teacher.
A belief is a thought that you just think over and over and over again, and then it becomes your belief and how it's almost like a lens that you see the world through. So some beliefs are really helpful. Yeah. Some beliefs are not so helpful. No. We all have different beliefs, but there are a lot of beliefs that we have, limiting ones, that are very similar, that a lot of us have. Yeah. Probably as humans, all of us have a lot of them. I know certainly with all the clients that I've worked with, I see the same limiting beliefs come up time and time again. Now, that doesn't mean that they have the same effect on everybody. Right. So different people can have different, what I call symptoms from the limiting beliefs. So one might show up in anxiety, and the same limiting belief might show up in over-exercising. And then for somebody else, it might show up as not being able to do public speaking. You know, there's many, many different ways that it could show up. But effectively, a belief is a thought that you think over and over again until it becomes true to you. And a limiting belief is a belief that limits you. Obviously, but it needs to be kind of said. Let's put it out there. It limits you. It holds you back. Exactly. And it doesn't. It's not conducive to you living a life that lights you up.
No.
You know, and so we don't want them.
No.
The problem is when we have these beliefs, these limiting ones, we don't know that we have them.
Right.
Because they feel so true to us.
Right, yes.
It feels like that's just how it is. That's life. Exactly. Yeah. That's how life works.
Yeah.
And this is how it is. It's the truth. And so then it's really, really hard to identify it as being anything else.
Yeah.
For example, let's think of a belief that we all hold, or that most of us hold.
Well, like self-doubt.
Yeah, but specifically, let's think of something that you wouldn't even question as being true. Then let's say, okay, we can't heal ourselves from cancer. Ooh. Okay, so going in deep there, and that's the first one that popped into my mind. Yeah. But as a whole, most of society believes that you cannot heal yourself from cancer. Yeah. And there will be some people that will say, well, that's not my belief because I have. Yeah. I know I have. Yeah. Okay, but there's not that many out there, or maybe there's more than we know, but people don't speak up because people will think they're wacky or crazy or talking nonsense, or there'll be some kind of reason that they did that. The thing with a belief is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
So if you believe something to be true, you will create that in your reality. So most of us as a society, even the people that maybe have doubts and think, maybe you can, maybe you can cure yourself from cancer. And this is just one example. Yeah. There's so many others. I probably could have thought of a better one, but there we go. That's what came up.
Yeah.
So even there might be some people thinking, oh, maybe you can. But that belief is so ingrained in our society, in our consciousness. It's been passed down from generation to generation that it has now become true. Yeah. And it's really, really hard to see it any other way. Yeah. However, if from a baby you grew up with a family member who had healed themselves from cancer, and they said to you as a baby, you can heal yourself from cancer. You can. I did. You know, you can do it. And that is the belief that is instilled from them as a child. That baby will grow up with a belief that it can heal itself from cancer. Yeah. Because that's its truth. And therefore, that is how its life will play out.
So it's programming, isn't it, from a young age?
Absolutely programming. Yeah. It is. All of our limiting beliefs come from programming. And that can be, you know, lots of different types of programming. It can be like ancestral programming, you know. So for example, if, you know, for generations in your family, it's been, you haven't had a lot of money, it's been hard work, hard graft to just get by, those beliefs are going to be passed down from generation to generation. And that's a generational belief and programming. You could have another family who has been wealthy, and so their programming is for, wealth is easy to come by, and that's what their reality will be. So there's a generational or ancestral programming, and then you've got societal programming. So that the cancer one, that's a good example of that. You know, and then you've got the programming that comes from your parents and your specific reality, how you've grown up. So your parents, your environment, your teachers, authority figures, experiences, everything personal to you. And so this programming depending on how you see the world, and again, this is the thing, it's like it's not all about other people putting their beliefs on you either. It's about how you personally, as a soul, as a person, experience something. Because you could put two different people in the same experience, exactly the same experience, and one of them will take something from it and make their beliefs from it. Let's say one of them will take their beliefs from that, and then the other one will form completely different beliefs around that same experience, because of how you basically your nervous system, the state of your nervous system at the time, other past experiences, just the type of soul you are, I think has a big part to play in it. And and then that's where you will form your beliefs. So this is why childhood is such an important time. It's such an important time, especially from the ages of, I say 0, and when I mean 0, I mean when you're in your mother's womb. Wow. And I say that because I've had lots of hypnosis sessions where we have done regression and we've revisited where these limiting beliefs are coming from, and so many times I've had clients go back into the womb. Even when I had a session of myself, I went back into the womb. It was crazy. Did you? When I did a session for you? No. You haven't. No, it's not you. You went back to a newborn baby, didn't you? Yeah, we could talk about that another time, definitely. But so I've seen it firsthand, and I've heard it, and it makes so much sense. When these limiting beliefs have been formed already before you've come out into the world. Amazing. And then up to the age of about 7. And the reason it's that is because up until the age of 7, we are living in a constant state of hypnosis. Right. So our brain waves are in what they call an alpha or a theta state. The alpha and theta state are the states of hypnosis, and it goes from varying degrees. So alpha is a lighter state of hypnosis, down to theta, which is a deeper state of hypnosis, and that's the kind of state you get into when you go into really deep meditations as well. But the alpha is the light state of trance. And obviously, as anyone who's been listening to my social media for any amount of time will know, is that the whole point of being in hypnosis, and why myself as a hypnotherapist wants you to be in hypnosis when I work with you, is because your subconscious mind is at the forefront. And when your subconscious mind is responsible for all your beliefs, your behaviors, your actions, your habits. And so when you're in hypnosis, that comes forward, and you become very susceptible to absorbing information that's coming in at you. Now, for me, in my work, this is positive, because I'm using this state to program your subconscious mind with all the positive things you want to hear. I'm telling your subconscious mind everything that you are trying to achieve in life that you can't achieve. Like, you are confident, you are worthy of love, you are powerful, you're unstoppable, anything specific to what you would want to work with. That's what I'm doing. But now think about being in that state, that delicate state, as a child. Wow. And you're just, and it's not just when you come in for a hypnosis session, you are walking around spending every hour of your day in that state of hypnosis. Right. And so when you think about that, it's a bit terrifying, really, isn't it? Because you think of, it's tough being a child. Up to the age of 7, you're already in school. We all know school's tough.
And that's out of your parents' hands.
Exactly, exactly. And that's just one area, then you have... And it doesn't matter if you have a wonderful, marvelous upbringing with amazing, loving parents, or an awful childhood where horrible things have happened to you. You will still, even if you've had that lovely childhood, you will still walk away with trauma. And I definitely want to do a podcast later on trauma, because there is so much misconception around that word and what it means. And I definitely want to go into that more, but for now, to stay on topic, you do experience trauma no matter what kind of childhood you have. We cannot walk out of childhood unscathed from trauma.
And we can't control it, can we?
No.
Because something happens within our body, doesn't it, that we're not even necessarily aware of. When something that our body considers a trauma.
Exactly.
That maybe our mind isn't thinking as a trauma at the time.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, with the subconscious mind kicks in and says, okay, so every time this happens, we're going to behave in this way again.
Yeah, exactly. Your nervous system effectively goes into a spike of fight or flight when you experience trauma. And yes, you might not technically acknowledge that moment as being traumatic at the time. You might do, but you might not. But your body certainly does, and your body remembers. And again, this is why when you're working with removing limiting beliefs, you can't just work on one area. You have to do, which is the mind. People would often think the mind, but you have to work on it all. You have to work on the body, you have to work on the mind, you have to work on the soul. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, because we tend to focus on one thing. And it's why I wanted to create my programs, and I've changed the way I work completely, because I could see that these three things weren't being addressed all in one go. They were just, it would just be one or the other. And I just don't think you can do it fully without combating all three, which is what I like to do in my programs. So anyway, your limiting beliefs that you hold now have been programmed into your subconscious mind. Mostly from childhood. Now, that doesn't mean that it's all coming from childhood. You will have also picked up limiting beliefs along the way as well, through experiences that have happened to you, especially if you've had kind of bigger things, happen to you. But the majority of our beliefs are programmed within those first 7 years of our life. And it creates our identity. It creates our character. And it creates how we show up in the world. It creates how we see the world. And it creates our reality, literally. And, I like to think of limiting beliefs as lenses on glasses. So when we, each limiting belief that we have, it's like we put on this lens in our glasses, and so we can only see the world through these lenses, which just give us one perspective. And it's not a positive perspective either. It's a perspective that holds us back. And when you remove your limiting beliefs, you're taking off those lenses, you're taking off those glasses, and you are able to see the world for what it really is. And actually, what the world really is neutral. I say this quite a lot, but there is no good and there is no bad. There is only neutral. It is our beliefs that make us feel that it is good or bad. And this is how you can start manipulating your reality. It's how you can start taking a really horrible situation, in inverted commas, because nothing's horrible, it's just neutral. It's horrible to you because of your beliefs at the moment, right? But then if you decide to, so obviously when you're removing limiting beliefs, you want to replace them with something else. No good just taking them away. You need to put something in its place. And this is where you have to get really clear on what it is you actually want from life. And again, this is where it's like a circle, and everything's connected. And as soon as you dive into one thing, you realize, but to do that, I need to go and do this, I need to go and do that. And it's all part of body, mind and soul. So you're trying to work with your mind here with the limiting beliefs, but in order to get that under control, you need to go over to your soul and actually ask your soul, well, what do I want? What do I want from life? So that you can work out what the belief is that you can then program into your mind in replace of that negative limiting belief. Does that make sense?
Not easy to do though.
No, it's tough. It is work. It's work, but that work, the word work has such negative connotations, doesn't it?
It does.
And actually it doesn't need to have that. Again, it's about reframing and looking at it from a different way.
It can be fun.
It can be fun. Work can be fun. This is a limiting belief right there, isn't it? Work has to be hard.
Oh, that's what we're told, aren't we? If we're not working our fingers to the bone, we're not doing it right.
No, exactly.
But that's not true.
It's not true. Or it is true if you believe that.
True.
But we choose to believe that work gets to be fun. Now, this is something I'm still working on.
Yeah.
You know,
it's new, isn't it?
It's new, because that was definitely one of my beliefs. You have to work hard. If you're not working hard, you're lazy and you're not going to be successful.
Exactly.
But, you know, when work is fun, you are working. Yes. You are, and you're working hard, and you're probably working harder than you would be if you believe that work has to be hard. But because it's fun, it doesn't feel like work.
That's right.
Yeah, but you are working, and you're working hard. Yeah. And it's all about this perspective shift.
Yeah. Oh, it's
so
fascinating.
I know. I mean, the limiting beliefs. This is what I mean. It's like such a broad topic, but actually, in my opinion, and from the work that I do, limiting beliefs are at the foundation of understanding that you are a creator. Right. Because with your limiting beliefs, you are creating. Like, you know, manifesting and all of that stuff. It makes you think that you're only manifesting when you're actively trying to manifest what you want. Oh no, you're manifesting every single day. You've been manifesting since the day you were born. You are a creator. You are creating a reality.
Just naturally.
Yeah, but you are creating your reality through the lens of these limiting beliefs. Sure. So if you want to create a life that lights you up, that you're in control of, that you know, get to choose what it is that you want to create, you have to address your limiting beliefs first, because you can try and manifest all you want. Right. But if you don't address your limiting beliefs, you're not going to get what you want. No. Because your limiting beliefs are going to be holding you back. And probably more than likely, if you're listening to this podcast, you already know that to some degree. Yeah. So, but it's really important to just highlight, I think, how important it is to get to the root and become aware of what your beliefs are, how they're holding you back, and then what you want to change them to. Right. And it's difficult. Yes. Like we said before, it's difficult because you don't know what you don't know. No. Exactly. And if it's the truth to you, if it feels like the truth, then it feels like there's no other way it can be. No. And it's not until you hear it from somebody else, or read it, or, you know, someone else says it to you, or you experience it randomly for yourself, that you all of a sudden your consciousness opens a little bit more, like we were talking about with the torch and shining it in the first episode. You know, it opens your eyes a little bit more. You see a little bit more of that warehouse, and then you realize, oh, maybe this is possible. Yeah, maybe what I thought isn't the truth. But it's really hard to do that on your own, and if you're not surrounded by people that you can talk to about this stuff, which is why it's so important. You know, they always say, don't they, you are who you hang around with. Yes. So you want to make sure that you are spending your time with people that inspire you, with people that maybe are a little bit ahead in the journey of where you are, because they show you what's possible. Yes. They can... And by showing you what's possible, effectively what they are doing is showing you and highlighting to you what limiting beliefs you are holding right now, and then showing you that actually there is another way of looking at things. There is another belief you could hold that would get you to where you want to be. And this is where you can be so creative, because... and I love doing this in my identity program, the 6-month program. We really work on this because we have a lot of time. We work on doing the past stuff first, removing your limiting beliefs from the past, and then in the second phase of the program, we work on the future and manifesting and working out with you. I help you to work out, and using hypnosis, we can get access to your subconscious mind, so we can get access to your desires that you don't even know you have. Right. We can work out what it is that you want. Yeah. What truly lights you up. Yeah. Who you need to be in order to get that. Right. And then work out the beliefs that sit behind, because it always comes back to the beliefs. You have to keep digging, and then it will come back to the beliefs. And then we need to work out what beliefs you need to get you to become that person who then has that life, who lives that life that you desire.
Right.
And it all starts from beliefs.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's no limitations.
Wow.
You can literally program your mind to believe anything that suits you. It's like mind-blowing.
It's incredible. And I guess when you get to that point, is that when you can bring in the amazing manifesting, but you have to clear these limiting beliefs first to enable you to do the really good manifesting to where you want to be.
Yeah, because listen, like I said, you are manifesting all the time. Yeah. But if you want to manifest, and when we say manifest, it's just create, bring into physical manifestation what you are holding in your mind, because that's all it is. Everything starts off as a thought in your mind. Everything around us has started off as a thought in someone's mind. Like this microphone that we're talking through now, that was once a thought in someone's mind until it became a physical manifestation and is now allowing us to do this podcast.
Yeah, and that really explains the creating. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. It is just that. And so remind me, because I've gone off track.
We were just saying you could really start manifesting.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so you can manifest what you want, because you're manifesting all the time, but most of the time you're manifesting what you don't want, or just more of the same of what you've already got. And that's where most people are. You know, that's why you feel like you're
don't you?
Yeah, and you feel like you're stuck in that cycle. Yeah. You know, you wake up every morning and every morning's the same. You're doing the same things, you're eating the same food, you're having the same conversations, you're with the same people, you know, work, sleep, eat, repeat. Yeah. And that's because you are manifesting on autopilot. You are creating on autopilot. Okay. So, but you are still creating. You are still manifesting.
You are, yes.
So, but when you identify your limiting beliefs and you identify what it is you actually want, you can then become a conscious creator. Right. And manifest consciously.
And that's when it gets powerful.
That's when it gets exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And that's when you start doing things that you never thought possible, and it's when opportunities and things start coming into your life that you couldn't have even imagined. No, because you're doing something different. You know, nothing changes if nothing changes.
True.
Yeah, it's just I always remind myself of that, because it doesn't. You know, you got to change to get a different result. So the best way you can change is by identifying your limiting beliefs and getting them changed. So okay, I think we've established the importance of limiting beliefs.
So important.
So how do you now then go about identifying them? You guys listening, what's your next steps? Maybe you know everything that we've just spoken about. You realise that, but you're like, well, that doesn't help me. How do I how do I change them? Yeah. And there's so many, there's so many ways. Honestly, obviously, I am going to be biased, but for me, well, I started trying to manifest and look into my personal development long before I found hypnosis. Right. And I got places with it. Yeah. It was my manifesting that helped me find my, you know, for a series of coincidences, found me the exact course I needed to do and propelled me forward. Yeah. But once I found hypnosis and hypnotherapy, it sped up my journey, my healing journey, my growth journey exponentially. It was a tough old slog trying to do it on my own without hypnosis, and actually I had to go through a massive crisis and crash and have myself broken into pieces in order to do that. And I think that if I hadn't had that happen, I wouldn't be on this journey. No. I wouldn't be on this path now. No. So you can absolutely do it without, you know, on your own, without any kind of help, without any tools. Yeah. But it's tricky and it's tough old slog. As soon as you get help, I do honestly think, and however that looks, you know, there's other ways apart from hypnosis to get in touch with your limiting beliefs and discover your limiting beliefs. However, I will say I don't just use hypnosis. That's just one of my tools. Yeah. What's important is the subconscious work, and that is what I specialise in.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what's very difficult to do by yourself,
yes.
isn't it?
And it's non-negotiable. If you want to get in touch with your limiting beliefs, you have to work with the subconscious mind, because your limiting beliefs are held within your subconscious mind. Yeah. You cannot control your limiting beliefs, or it's very difficult to control your limiting beliefs using your conscious mind, because it's not in control of them. No. Your subconscious mind is in control 95% of the time. Wow. It's powerful. Yeah. And if you really truly want to experience changes that last and that rewire your brain, rewire your thinking for good, you've got to do the subconscious work. Now, you can do this on your own. Meditate. Right. Do meditations, because meditation, hypnosis is the same thing. Right. You know, I talked about earlier the alpha and the theta brainwaves. Yeah. You're going into those brainwaves when you do hypnosis, and meditation is the same. Yeah. The thing with hypnosis is that you are being guided specifically and programmed. Yes, that's amazing. Yeah, like when you hear the audios, but also within hypnotherapy, you are using hypnosis as a form of therapy, and you are being guided and specifically for you within hypnotherapy. Meditations are more, you can have guided meditations, but they're obviously broad, aren't they? They're not specific to you. And so you're not going to get as specific as you could if you worked with someone that could do that for you. But you absolutely can use meditations and do inner child meditations. You want to do the meditations that take you back to your childhood, because as I explained earlier, all your beliefs, all your limiting beliefs have stemmed from childhood. So there's going to be something that you need to revisit back there in order to become aware of what they are. And you know, obviously the conscious work, the meditations are good once you've identified what your limiting beliefs are, because then you can go back and revisit your childhood and say, this is where it came from, I understand. Right. And now reframe it to something else that's going to be, you know, more conducive to getting you what you want. But before you can do that, you've got to identify them, because if you don't know what they are, how do you go back and change them or find out where they've come from? And by doing that, you know, consciously, you have to start becoming very aware of your behaviour. There's no other way I can say it, really. You have to become aware of your behaviour. You have to dissect everything you do and everything you think. Right. And that's where it gets tough. Yeah. Because again, you're trying to blast through what you think is the truth. Right. And identify, it might not be. Right. And if you're doing it with someone else, maybe you can talk to them. Yeah. And because they might have a different belief system to you. True. So they could highlight to you, actually, I don't believe that. You could look at it this way, you know. And again, this is where I said it comes back to who you hang around with. Yeah. Make sure you're around people that are going to show you another way, show you a different way to believe. Yes. You know, that, and this is again another reason why we wanted to set up this Facebook community, because by joining that, you are going to be around people who have lots of different beliefs, but positive. You know, if you're in this group, if you're listening to this podcast, you're on a self-development journey, you're on a self-growth journey, a spiritual journey, and you're going to be aiming to be positive. You're aiming to be breaking down those beliefs, aren't you? So that's why we wanted to have this. And especially, you know, us, we will always be jumping in there, keeping that positivity going, talking about ways that you can identify your beliefs, talking about the possibilities. It's all about empowering you to realize that there are no limits. You have no limits, and you are a powerful creator who is capable of anything. And I will sing that song until the cows come home on this podcast, in my work, in the group. And so that's definitely worth you being involved with this group. But there's other groups you can, you know, if you want to expand in business, go join business groups where there are other powerful women who are running their businesses, who are, you know, entrepreneurs, millionaires. Like, hang around with them, spend your time with them, put yourself in their energy, because they will show you that it's possible. With relationships, be around people who have strong, healthy relationships with themselves and with others. You know, you want to start speaking up and for yourself, working on boundaries. Get with people who respect boundaries, who will, you know, show you that it's okay to say, no, I don't want to do this, but in a kind way. You know, again, going back to everything is energy and our frequencies and our vibrations. If you are on a certain vibration that's a negative vibration, you are going to attract more people who are on that level. You want to surround yourself with people who are vibrating higher than you, so that you can resonate with them. Exactly, like that's what you want to do. So, you know, there are other ways that you can start trying to identify your limiting beliefs. Journaling.
I was gonna suggest journaling. Is that a good one?
I think journaling's always good for any time you're trying to kind of get deeper into yourself and understand yourself more. Journaling is a good one, because just let yourself write and you'll see what comes out. You know, set an intention and then write on it, and you don't have to know what you're writing first, and it'll probably be stunted at first, but I've had some incredible breakthroughs through journaling. Honestly, it's not something that I do every day, but when I need to understand something or work something out, I will definitely journal. So that's a really good way of doing it.
And so would you say, like, say when something you notice triggers you and triggers an emotion within you, would you then, that would be a good idea to maybe go down and go back home and write about that and see what comes through?
Yeah, that's such a good point you bring up. Really good, because when you get triggered, it is an absolute sign that you've got something there that you need to address and heal. So everybody is a mirror for us. So if someone triggers you, or a situation that keeps coming up triggers you, you have to look inside and say, why is that triggering me? So yes, that's such a good point. Pay attention to your triggers. And then, like you said, go home and journal on them. Or just think about them. Instead of, you know, usually when you get triggered, you're like,
that's right.
Oh, that really annoyed me. Right. Oh, why do they do this?
You put it on that other person.
Yes. So the best way of becoming self-aware is to always say, this isn't about them.
No.
What does this mean about me?
Yes.
Always turn it back on yourself. It is the most powerful thing that you can do. And to take personal responsibility like that will make you so self-empowered and take you so much further on your journey. So whenever someone triggers you, always say, what does this mean about me?
Yes.
That's something that I mean, you know, don't you? I do it all the time, don't I? I'm always like, what's going on with me there?
Exactly, and you get me to do it.
Because it's such a great way to identify.
It's so good. And I just think it's maybe not such it's not so natural to us to do that. You do sort of, we're programmed to, it's that person making us feel that way. It's not something within ourselves. No, it's not us. It can't be us.
Exactly.
But you know, that's a really good way to start breaking it down and say, what's this saying about me? Why is this triggering me so much? It doesn't usually bother me.
No, exactly. And that goes back to our last episode about, you know, victim mentality. When you can start asking, what does this mean about me? You are stepping out of that victim mentality and you're stepping into self-empowerment. And that's where like magical changes start happening, and where you feel totally in control, because you realize that you do have control over yourself, and that's all you need to have control over. So thank you. Yes, absolutely. Identify your limiting beliefs. If you pay attention to your triggers, you'll definitely have some limiting beliefs highlighted to you there. But you have to dive in deep, and you have to feel the uncomfortable feelings.
Yes, that's right. What was it you said? How long does a feeling take to go through your body?
I think it was 90 seconds.
Right.
It's something around that, 90 seconds to 2 minutes it takes for an emotion to travel through your body.
Right.
And what if we just allowed the emotion to pass through? It would feel uncomfortable for that time, but then it would be gone. The problem is we don't like to feel uncomfortable, so whenever we have an uncomfortable feeling, we block it. We try and distract ourselves. We'll put Netflix on. We'll go and eat a chocolate bar.
That's it. We don't want to think about it.
But guess what? You haven't let that emotion pass through you, and now it's trapped. Now it's trapped in your body. And then that causes resentment, bitterness, anger, but it also causes disease. You know, this is where disease stems from. Yeah, you keep on piling these emotions down, and we all hold different emotions. Specifically, some person might really store a lot of anger. Other people might store a lot of resentment. Some people might store a lot of bitterness. Some people might store a lot of fear. You know, we all have different emotions that we tend to hang on to. Mine was definitely resentment. I know lots of people who store anger, and interestingly, when I work with the subconscious mind or the higher self in my past life regressions, and we channel through the higher self, they will always tell you where people are storing these emotions, and typically they're the same. So I think the liver is very much associated with anger. The heart and the lungs, they're associated with kind of grief and sadness. It kind of makes sense, really, you know. The resentment, bitterness, lower back, because you feel unsupported. Typically, it's your subconscious mind is really literal, and our body translations, what translates is very literal. It's strange. Like, we could again, that's a whole nother podcast episode. But yes, we you have to let the emotions pass through you. You have to don't hang on to them, don't store them, because it just causes nothing but problems. Nothing but problems. But we can come back to that in another episode. So let's just recap then. We kind of discussed today what limiting beliefs are, how you can start becoming aware of them, like why you need to get rid of them, like why you want to get rid of them, really, why you would want to, so you can become that conscious creator. You know, and steps to take in order to start trying to identify and change them, and also to work out what you would want in their place. So if you are, you know, in a place where you're trying to identify your limiting beliefs right now, and you feel like you're trying to create this life that you can envisage for yourself, but you're just not getting there, you definitely want to take a step back and focus on your beliefs first, because it will make your manifesting a lot easier. So become aware of your behaviors, of your thoughts, of your actions. Really dissect yourself, almost come out of your body, and just go, that's curious. I always say that. That's curious. Because just be inquisitive. Like, just really...
And that's where it can become fun.
Exactly.
You don't have to make it hard work.
It doesn't have to be hard work. Just observe yourself.
And also, your life starts to make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really helpful, isn't it, sometimes?
Exactly. You're like, oh, that's why I do that all the time. Okay, fine. And so you want to, you know, observe yourself, observe your actions. Pay attention to your triggers. Surround yourself with people, whether that's real people or people in groups, you know, like we explained before, our group, other groups. Get yourself talking to other people so that they can help you and show you another way, but also so that you can bounce off of them. And then once you become a little bit more aware of those limiting beliefs, you want to then do some kind of subconscious work. So do the meditation, do the journaling to try and identify where this belief stemmed from, and do the healing around that. And we can talk about inner child healing in another podcast episode. We need to write all this stuff down, don't we?
We do.
But we definitely need to talk about that, because inner child healing is so powerful, and it is transformational in the sessions that I do with my clients. Like the sessions where we do the inner child healing, just a whole nother level, really. And you can do this for yourself at home. So you want to do that kind of healing around the root beliefs, and then you need to identify and think about what it is you actually want, like, so that you know the beliefs behind that. So if you want a really successful business and to earn and be really financial, like what are the beliefs actually behind that you need to have, you know? So it might be like, I am confident, you know, I am successful, I am worthy of financial abundance. You need to work on those beliefs in order to be that person that would have that reality, that would live in that reality.
Yeah.
And this isn't necessarily a linear thing. Like I said, it's like a circle. You have to do this, you have to do that, to do the mind work, you then have to do the soul work first, and then you might have to do some body work to release the emotions that are stored in your body, to go back to the mind and do that. It's not necessarily a circle, but give yourself one task to do and focus on one thing. And for the purposes of this podcast, I would say focus on getting to becoming aware first. That's your first step. Become aware of your limiting beliefs, and then you can go from there.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you want to make your journey so much easier and go into so much more depth, then this is exactly what I do.
Oh, amazing.
If you're not following me on social media already, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. The links will be in the show notes. Head over to my website. You can see a bit more about the programs that I offer. But if you have any questions, or you would like to know anything, any more information about the programs or the way that I work and what I offer, or just to have some advice as to whether it could work for you, then please do get into contact. DM me on Instagram, message me on Facebook Messenger, or send me an email. You can get that from my website. And I would love to have a chat. Yeah. Don't forget to join that Facebook community.
Yes, please. We want you all over there.
Yes. Because we're going to be adding, our aim is that we're going to really put lots of effort into there as well. We'll be over there. You can actually see us. You don't have to just listen to us. And we want to make it interactive so we can talk, we can ask questions. And as we said, this podcast episode was actually inspired by one of our lovely community members. Yeah. Anyway, so you can get your ideas in for next podcast episodes. Bex, anything else we got to say today?
Oh my goodness. I think you've covered a lot there, Tash, haven't you? That was really, really interesting. And amazing what hypnotherapy can do, and how you can fast track all of that you said, because very difficult to do on your own.
Yeah, and even even if you don't want to work with me and there's something else that you feel more attracted to, brilliant. But what I would say is, when you're trying to work on your limiting beliefs, it's really helpful to have an outside source, because as I said multiple times in this episode, you don't know what you don't know. You can't see your own. It's very difficult to see your own. I get help. I can't work on my limiting beliefs on my own, so I get help and see other therapists so that they can help me, because it's really tough seeing yourself.
Even just having a friend, isn't it?
That's really helpful.
Yeah, go through it like we're going through it together.
Yeah, exactly.
And we help each other, don't we?
Yeah.
So that could be really helpful. But I would definitely recommend hypnotherapy, because that's really the way the fast track way to get there.
It's you get access to your subconscious mind, and honestly, the reason I love hypnotherapy and the subconscious work so much is that you're not relying on another person to tell you what's wrong with you. So I don't tell anybody what's wrong with them.
No.
They have all the answers. I just unlock their subconscious mind so they can tell themselves what they need to do, because you know already what you need to do. You already know. You just have to hear it and experience it for yourself. Yeah. And I'm very good at guiding you and asking you the right questions and being very supportive along the way, because it's a journey, and it takes work, in inverted commas, but I like to think that I make it fun. Even the heavier stuff, it gets to be fun.
It does.
And like you said, it's so amazing when you start to understand yourself. Yeah. The power you feel, and the clarity and the you just
just understanding yourself is such a step forward, isn't it?
It is. And actually, it's a bit, when you realise you have no idea who you are.
Oh, God.
it's a bit crazy, isn't it? You're like, how did I survive this long? This is why I've been going round and round in circles. I get it. But anyway, right. So with that being said, thank you so much once again for listening to the podcast. We really, really hope you've enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you share it with other people you think would find this useful. And don't forget to hit follow so that you can be notified when all the other podcast episodes are released.
Thank you, Tash. That was brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Until next time, everyone.